There is a hidden curriculum in life, one that no school can teach you, no book can fully reveal, no man can explain in totality. It's the divine curriculum taught by the infinite wisdom of God Himself. And unless we are humble enough to say, God, teach me what I cannot see, we will stumble through this life with our eyes wide open, yet completely blind. You and I are living in a world that praises logic, celebrates intelligence, and glorifies strategy. Yet some of the most crucial lessons that elevate a man from average to extraordinary are not found through reason, but through revelation. And revelation only comes to those who ask for it with a sincere heart, those who cry out, Lord, I don't know what I don't know. Show me. The greatest transformations in life don't come when everything is going according to plan. No, they come when your plan breaks, when your map burns in the fire, and you are forced to ask for new direction. You see, man plans his steps, but it is God who orders them. The most powerful prayer you can ever pray is not, God, give me what I want, but God, teach me what I can't see. Because what you don't see is more dangerous than what you do. You may be fighting the symptoms of your problems while blind to the root. You may be chasing dreams that are distractions in disguise. You may think you're climbing a ladder to success, but that ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. And so, before you go any further, stop and ask God, open my eyes. Show me the traps. Show me the truth. Show me the purpose buried beneath the pain. You've heard it said that experience is the best teacher. But I tell you, this divine insight is even greater than experience. Experience teaches after the fall, but divine revelation prevents the fall. There are things ahead of you, relationships, decisions, opportunities, temptations, that appear harmless, even beautiful. But beneath the surface, they carry destruction. And unless you have the discernment to see beyond the surface, you may walk willingly into your own downfall. How many men have ruined their lives not because they were weak, but because they were blind? They trusted the wrong friend. They made the wrong deal. They ignored the warning signs because they didn't see. And I say to you, a man without sight in the spiritual is like a ship without a compass. No matter how mighty the sails, how powerful the engine, he will be lost in the fog. God knows what's ahead. He sees the storm you cannot see, and the blessing you haven't even imagined. He sees the people who are applauding you in public, but betraying you in private. He sees the business decision that looks wise today, but leads to ruin tomorrow. He sees the habit you think is harmless, but is quietly stealing your power. And so when you say, God, teach me what I cannot see, you are not showing weakness. You are declaring the greatest form of strength, humility. And let me tell you this truth, when God opens your eyes, everything changes. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop panicking and start preparing. You stop guessing and start discerning. You begin to see the why behind the what, and that is where real wisdom begins. There was a time in my life when I chased everything I could see. The money, the applause, the accolades. I thought if I could just acquire enough, I would be enough. But no matter how much I achieved, something was missing. It wasn't until I prayed the simple but life-altering prayer, God, teach me what I cannot see, that everything shifted. I started seeing where I was sabotaging myself. I saw the lies I had believed for years. I saw the hidden fear behind my ambition. And most of all, I saw that God had been with me the entire time, waiting for me to open my eyes. The enemy of your soul wants to keep you blind, because as long as you can't see, you can't grow. As long as you can't see, you can't break free. As long as you can't see, you'll settle for less than what you were created for. But once your eyes are opened, once the fog lifts, you become unstoppable. You stop blaming others and take full ownership of your life. You stop drifting and start walking with purpose. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what are you teaching me? The truth is, God never wastes pain. He never wastes delay. He never wastes disappointment. But if you can't see what He's doing, you'll mislabel the very season that was designed to promote you. What looks like rejection may be protection. What feels like loss may be preparation. What seems like silence may be the very moment when God is speaking the loudest. just not in words, but in wisdom. Some of you are in a season right now where nothing makes sense. You're doing everything you know to do. You're praying, you're working, you're trying, and yet the breakthrough hasn't come. Don't be discouraged. Ask instead, God, what am I not seeing? Maybe He's developing patience. Maybe He's positioning you for something bigger than you've asked for. Maybe He's teaching you how to depend on Him, not on your own strength. We live in a culture that worships answers, but faith often grows in the absence of them. The question is not always, what's next? The better question is, what do I need to learn before what's next? Because God won't promote you to a new level until you've learned the lesson at the current one. If you're asking for elevation, you better also ask for vision. Because new levels come with new devils, and if you can't see clearly, you won't survive the pressure that comes with promotion. And don't assume just because someone looks successful that they're not blind. You can have millions and still miss the truth. You can have fans and still have no peace. You can have influence and still be empty. Sight is not the ability to look. It's the ability to perceive, to discern, to see beyond the surface. And that is a gift only God can give. There's a story about a man who was walking through a forest in the dead of night. He stumbled and fell into a pit. In desperation, he felt around and discovered he had landed on something. Diamonds. But in the darkness, he thought they were just stones. So he filled his pockets with a few and left the rest behind. When morning came, he realized what he had been standing on. His heart was filled with regret, not for what he had taken, but for what he had left behind. That's what it's like to live without spiritual sight. You're standing on treasure, but you can't see it. Don't let your destiny be left in the dark. Don't walk through life only guided by logic or emotion or culture. Ask for divine insight. Ask God to make you a person of vision. Say it until heaven answers you. Teach me what I cannot see. Teach me where I've been wrong. Teach me what I've ignored. Teach me what I'm afraid to confront. Teach me what I need to release. Teach me how to walk by faith, not by sight. Because when God opens your eyes, you'll stop asking for easier battles and start asking for greater strength. You'll stop asking for lighter burdens and start asking for stronger shoulders. You'll stop asking for comfort and start asking for calling. That's what happens when you begin to see as He sees. You no longer chase everything that glitters. You look for what grows you, even if it's difficult. My friend, there are truths about your life, your purpose, your future that are waiting to be revealed. But God does not throw diamonds at those who only want dust. He reveals truth to those who are ready to receive it. So prepare yourself, clean your heart, humble your spirit, and ask this question every single day until it shapes your destiny. God, teach me what I cannot see. That prayer will shake you. It will stir you. It will save you. Because when you ask for vision, you're asking for freedom. And when you can finally see what's been holding you back, what's been calling you forward, and who has been guiding you all along, you won't just live, you'll rise. You will begin to notice that the same events that once frustrated you now begin to educate you. The same delays that once irritated you begin to develop you. You'll stop questioning why the door didn't open, and instead you'll ask what was on the other side that God was protecting you from. That's the shift. That's the maturity that comes from spiritual vision. It's no longer about getting your way. It's about gaining God's way. When you see from a divine perspective, you realize that not every good thing is a God thing. You start to separate the attractive from the anointed. Just because something is available doesn't mean it's aligned. Just because an opportunity is big doesn't mean it's blessed. You must be able to see the spirit behind the sparkle, the motive behind the message, the end result behind the invitation. Only God can teach you that. You begin to understand that your life is not a series of random events, but a carefully orchestrated path with divine fingerprints all over it. The missed calls, the closed doors, the lonely nights, the sudden changes, they weren't accidents. They were answers. But answers you couldn't interpret until your eyes were opened. And now that you can see, You can thank Him for the things you didn't understand back then. There are people who have sight but no insight. They can read books but cannot read their own life. They can memorize verses but miss the voice of God speaking directly to them. They have facts but no fire, knowledge but no wisdom, and you must decide which kind of person you want to be. Because the moment you say, "God, teach me what I cannot see," you begin to operate on a higher frequency, a higher level of living where you are guided by revelation, not reaction. You'll start recognizing patterns. You'll start seeing the same tests show up in different clothes. The same kind of people, the same kind of conflict, the same kind of delay, and you'll realize this isn't about them. It's about what God is trying to grow in me. That kind of awareness turns every problem into a classroom, every enemy into a teacher, every pain into a prophecy. Your growth will accelerate the moment you stop asking God to remove the mountain and instead ask Him to reveal the purpose of the mountain. That's where your power is. Not in escape, but in understanding. Not in comfort, but in clarity. Because once you can see the lesson, the burden becomes lighter. The moment you understand the reason, the pain becomes fuel. This world will try to convince you to seek shortcuts, to choose ease over evolution. But if you can see clearly, you'll know that growth always hides in struggle. Destiny always hides behind discomfort. Power always hides behind pressure, and the enemy always hides behind illusion. The clearer your sight, the less you will be fooled by what is loud, shiny, urgent, or popular. You will walk differently. You will talk differently. You'll become a person who can stand still in chaos because you see what others cannot. You see the hand of God behind the curtain. You see that what looks like a breakdown is actually a setup. You see that what feels like the end might be the beginning of a whole new chapter. It's the ability to say, "I don't need to have all the answers. I just need to be aligned with the one who does." And that humility becomes your compass. That surrender becomes your superpower. When others are chasing opinions, you're chasing truth. When others are anxious, you are anchored. Because when God begins to teach you, He doesn't just give you information. He transforms your interpretation. He doesn't just tell you what is happening. He shows you why it's happening and what He's doing through it. That's why the storm doesn't destroy you anymore. It develops you. That's why the silence doesn't scare you. It strengthens you. And eventually, you begin to thank God for not giving you what you asked for. You thank Him for every no, for every delay, for every redirection. You thank Him for the things that didn't make sense at the time, but now serve as confirmation. That's the gift of divine sight. When you see clearly, your prayers become bolder. Not just bless me, but break me if you must, shape me if you will, because I don't want what's easy. I want what's eternal. You begin to pray differently. You ask for wisdom instead of wealth, discipline instead of dreams, character instead of comfort. And with that kind of focus, you become unshakable. The man or woman who can see can walk into darkness with confidence because they know the light is with them. They can walk into uncertainty with peace because their vision is no longer external. It's internal. They don't just believe in God, they see God in every detail, in every delay, in every twist and turn of life's path. When you ask God to teach you what you cannot see, you begin to spot deception before it wraps its arms around you. You begin to notice the trap before you step into it. You recognize when a door is open but not ordained. You stop forcing what's not flowing. You stop chasing what's not choosing you. You stop settling for surface-level success and start seeking soul-level significance. Your eyes open not just to what is wrong around you, but what is still broken within you. And instead of running from it, you face it. You work on it. You confront the pride, the fear, the insecurity, the doubt. Because God can't bless who you pretend to be. He can only bless who you are willing to become. So let this become your daily pursuit. God, don't just bless my path, light it. Don't just enlarge my territory, educate me on how to manage it. Don't just give me opportunity, give me the eyes to recognize it, the wisdom to steward it, and the courage to walk in it when it comes. There is a version of you that exists on the other side of clarity, A version that isn't confused, isn't reactive, isn't overwhelmed. A version of you that moves with purpose, speaks with conviction, leads with grace, and sees with the eyes of heaven. But that version cannot be unlocked by ambition alone. It requires revelation. And revelation comes only to the seeker. The one who asks, who knocks, who waits, who listens. The one who doesn't just want a better life, but a clearer life, a life aligned with something higher than self, a life in tune with divine rhythm. Because what good is progress if it's in the wrong direction? What good is success if it blinds you to what really matters? What good is gaining the world if you lose your sight for what's sacred? Ask Him daily. With the same urgency that you ask for your needs, ask for insight. With the same passion that you pursue goals, pursue guidance. Because when you begin to see the hand of God in all things, you stop striving and you start soaring. Let me know if you want the rest. And so I say to you, as clearly and as urgently as I can, never stop asking God to teach you what you cannot see. Because the greatest danger is not in what's ahead of you. It's in what you're blind to within you. The battles you lose are rarely because of what you're fighting, but because of what you failed to recognize. One moment of divine clarity can save you from 10 years of wandering. One whisper from God can outpower 1,000 voices of doubt. One revelation can reroute your entire destiny. So walk forward not just with ambition, but with vision. Not just with strength, but with wisdom. Because when your eyes are open, when your spirit is trained, when your soul is surrendered, you will no longer live by what you see in the natural, but by what you know in the eternal. And that kind of vision, God-given vision, will make you unstoppable.